Hello, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here, and we finally have parts 24 and 25 of Total Tarot. I'm very pleased to say it's arrived. It was posted on the 16th of December. Today, as I film this, as it's arrived, is the 31st of December. That's how long it took to come through the postal system here with all the various strikes. So we have the deck, which I can't wait to have a little look through with you. I have my card number 6s, so we have the 6 of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles for the Golden Art Nouveau. And they are in pretty good condition, so it might have been late, but at least it hasn't been damaged in being held up in transit or storage somewhere. And let's just get going, shall we? Let's have a look, a sneaky peek. We have unmatched illustrations. So what are we talking about here? Different meanings. Readers tend to assign one meaning to a range of related or a range of related meanings to each card in a deck. They may be essential meanings and keywords that have been drawn from tradition, the work of modern tarot master or trusted teacher. Okay, I'm going to ad-lib this. I believe what this is talking about is, so we have our study deck there, which has its kind of keywords that many people are familiar with, and then each deck that you use, which has a different picture, so not what we refer to as a standard depiction. So this would be your standard depiction because it's classed as your study deck. So something that differs from this, but is still called the Queen of Wands. There'll be something new in that image that will add to your keywords, your understanding of this original depiction, and that builds your tarot journals and your like vocabulary, your own personal dictionary for your tarot, and it will evolve over time. And yours should be, it will have similarities to others in the start of it, and then as you get to the end of it, it will be completely different from many other people's dictionaries, because it's your language. It's how the cards read for you. So it looks like here we have Tarot of the Elves coming up. I'm just having a quick sneak peek over here. We've got why decks differ. There are a variety of reasons. Some cards feature illustrations that diverge dramatically in what they represent from the assigned traditional meanings. What we've got here, badly designed decks. Some tarot decks are hastily produced and badly designed. Difference in underlying systems or traditions. Yep, so RWS, Thoth, Marseille might have slightly different underlying traditions, and then there are ones which I don't have any copies of. And I can't even think of the name of it now. Solabusca is one of them. Minchiati is another one. I'm not sure what other ones. It might be the Golden Dawn, off the top of my head. Would have different systems and traditions. And is it the Gaia Tarot? Dreams of Gaia Tarot? I think that has its own system as well. And then we've got differences in emphasis. So the illustrations will give different emphasis on different items in the pictures. And there's little kind of pictures there. So we have our Two of Cups in detail, giving us the symbols. So we have our winged lion, the caduceus, our two depictions of people. So could be man, woman, two men, two women, two people. We have our cups, of course, because that's the most important part of this picture, I think. And there is a house in the background of this. Now, I've never actually noticed this house because it's blown up. I can see it. This is usually sort of what I see when I look at this card. I never pay any attention to the background. And this implies domestic bliss and homemaking. Well, there you go. There's a layer to that card that I've never seen. Now, what I will point out as a fun fact here is, and what I do see when I see these cards that Pamela Coleman Smith designed, is this line that carries through most of them. And she worked in theatre set production design, I think I'm correct, or she certainly worked in the theatres if she wasn't a set designer. And this, if you start looking at all the cards, kind of runs through, and this background would match those of theatre floors in colour, and this line could potentially be the backdrop for the next curtain that comes down. Just, you know, if ever you feel like pulling out your deck and having a squiz, that is one of the theories that I have been in conversations with people. And then what do we have here? So our thematics, meanings, and what the card shows us, rather than the conversation with the card, which, as you know, was one of my favourite things at this point in the magazine. And then over here we have some other versions. So that's a very different other version. So that is the Shaman's Tarot. We we have our Pre-Raphaelite, the Dark Grimoire, the Universal Celtic, which we have already collected. Then we have the Neferatu's Tarot, the Fae Tarot, oh, okay. Tarot Illuminati, we do have that. And what's this one? The Pagan Tarot. So, correlations, lesson and question. And a couple of different depictions again up there. Tarot of the Angels. I don't think I've actually heard of that one. And then we've got upright and reverse traditional meanings. Here we have our Fairy Eyes tarot spread. So that's really nice. We'll have a look at that one later on when I've got nothing else to do with my cup of tea. And then you've got your example reading. And then we have some information here on the Fairy Tarot and our major arcana with the meanings on here. And we've got something here about fairy names. So the enchanting realm, chaotic system, creating the tarot. Again, something to read later. This one's probably going to layer quite nicely with the John Bower tarot that came previously in this collection. Did you know, when you flick through your fairy tarot, you may notice strength is numbered 11 and justice is known as the Dryad is number 8. This is the opposite of how they appear in your training deck. Yeah, so that happens in most decks because that is the actual original way that they were done. I think the RWS system swapped them. And then we have our minor arcana readings. So I think I have touched on this. What I plan to do is I plan to somehow either take a picture and then lay this onto a Word document. So it'll be this on a Word document with this. So it'll be back to back. And then I will fold it up and put it in here as my own little white book, because I am finding it a pain in the arse trying to find my magazines every time I want to check what something might mean in here, if it's different from, as it said, the original kind of meanings. Sometimes it's just nice to have that reference to bring it back to. Okay, so, oh yeah, the Egyptian Tarot comes next. Hopefully in about 12 days' time, going by my payment system. So we have the number 25. Let's go into this one. Reading the tarot, the suits. Is this part 2 for the suits then, is it? In our second article on the significance of the suits in tarot reading, we focus on wands and swords. Okie dokie, so we've already done cups and pentacles. Right, so what do we have in this page? I think exciting to point out to you. Sharp insight. Though they may appear threatening as they hover above the sleeping knight, the swords suggest a period of reflection and stability. So that's our 4 of swords over here, which often comes up with kind of rest, recuperation. I like to say rest, relax, or some much needed R&R, because you know your brain's knackered, and also give your voice a break. And then we have these swords. So here we go, a little bit here. So it talks about the element is air. The roles would be rationale, masculine, directional, divider. We've got keywords, thoughts, articulation, communication, decisions, intellectualization, ideas, stories, expression, conflicts, thinking, rationalism, analysis, rationality, speculation, apprehension, and translation. As some of the aspects of the swords. There wasn't one there for wands. And we have our 3 of cups, working our way through this suit. Anything exciting here? Let's have a look. So it talks about the 3 cups, the young women, the grapes, so celebration to or relation to wines. They represent wealth, sharing and celebration. And then we have, excuse me, Marjorie's having a little moment. Then we have vegetation, signifying growth and abundance that can be shared with others. So all aspects that you need for a roaring party. And some other 3 of cups. We have our low Scarabeo deck. There's our showman this time. Tower of the Cats, which I know is coming. The Pagan Tarot. Tarot Draconis, which is also coming, parts 32 and 33, so a little way off. And then we have the Dark Grimoire again, the Fae Tarot, and Before Tarot, another one that's coming, parts 28 and 29. That one's not far away at all. Law of Three. So the Law of Three spread shows us how to predict the consequences of our actions. It is an excellent way to reveal the strategies that are unlikely to lead to positive results and those that will be more advantageous. So we have 1, 2, and 3. How do we know what means what? Let me just have a little. So 3 cards drawn, example reading. So it doesn't actually tell us what their placement is. So actually I might need to read a bit more about this spread in order to do it justice to talk about, because although we have set placement, the purpose is to predict the consequences of an action. 3 cards arranged in a semicircular shape, but it doesn't tell me. Card 1. Keywords reverse, no, it doesn't tell me if it has a significance in that space. So, you know, you'd have like past, present, future or something. It doesn't actually tell me that, or so I will have to definitely come back and read this one. Collect the Witchcraft Tarot, coming up in the collection. Okay. Here we have the Esoteric Tarot, so section 4. We've got a bit on esoteric stuff. We've got sacred geometry there. Birth of Modern Tarot, magical thinking and divine architecture on these pages. Tarot techniques using age. So we have the figures in the arcana can reflect the age of people in our lives, as well as characteristics and associations with different generations. I've never used them to do that, so that's probably going to be an interesting read, actually. And yeah, if we looked at this as maybe the Fool's Journey a little bit, you can see different ages within the cards. And here, our Emperor and our Hermit, old and wise. Definitely our Queen of Wands looks, well, maybe she's slightly older than our Empress. And our 3 ladies there having fun. We've got obviously young, this to me always feels like the children in the 6 of Cups, and we have the baby on the sun. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's age in a reading. Scan the spread for human figures and the ages represented. This instantly tells us something about the reading. Does the situation look balanced, or is it only one generation represented? Are there many children or young people in the spread? Perhaps that indicates that the people involved are behaving childishly and need to grow up in order to come to an agreement. A good interpretation depends on paying attention to the qualities symbolized and not just the literal images as you see before you. Okay, that's really quite cool. I might have to pay attention to that, but you never know. And then we have our colour depictions for the Fairy Tarot. So you can see instantly before I actually get to this deck, it's a pip deck. So it's a bit like the Harmonious Tarot, which had lots of pips at the top and then depictions at the bottom. So it's got a bit of both in it. And then we have just the next two showing the full deck for the Egyptian Tarot. Okay, let's go, because obviously this is what we all want to see, isn't it? I definitely want to see this. So the tuck box comes, as always, flat packed, and I've popped it up and put the cards in just to save you all some time. Okay, I think it's this way. So let's zoom down and have a look at this deck. I will try not to talk too much about it, but you never know. I probably normally can't help myself when I say that. So we have our top card. This does feel like really nice quality cardstock, actually. We have the backs, which are gorgeous. They're reversible. And it's a little, I don't know, king of fairies or a leprechaun. It's got to be a fairy, right? Because it's got wings. Something from their realm. So we start off with the Fool. I think you can see that okay. We've got numbers top and bottom on this deck to tell you what you're looking at so far in the majors. So we'll see if that's a theme. Ours our Magician. These are really great gentle images. So here we have our High Priestess. So she has her book and her magical animals working with her. And she's obviously got her pentagram. Then we've got 2 wings, which would maybe you could look at those as symbolizing the pillars in the study deck. Here we have our Empress. She's got a falcon. Is it a falcon? I call it a falcon. Our Emperor. So there's a real young fun element to this, isn't there? So far. Here we have a Hierophant. Look at that cat's nose. So he has his keys. And a scroll. Our Lovers. Wow, that's a cool chariot. Love that. And here we have Justice in the 8th position, as it discussed previously in the magazine. She's still got her scales, she's blindfolded, she has a sword of truth. Our Hermit. He's got a cool home. The wheel. I wonder what she's got in her hat. And then we have our Strength. Moving boundaries. Our Hanged One. It's feeling a bit tattered there, look. And we have Death. So you notice it hasn't got the word on the card. So is that one upside down? No, that's the right way up. Temperance. Without alchemy. There's our Devil. Tower. Oh. Star. Nice to see somebody not naked. Moon. So we've still got the crayfish there. There's our Sun. Yep, that's a nice happy one. Judgment. So I wonder what these are down here. Are these rocks or tombs? We have a world. Also rather mischievous person. Okay. Oh, right. So this looks very different to what we've just gone through, doesn't it? I'm not sure what these are. So bells. This might be earth. Let's have a quick peek. I know what's in here. Pentacles, yeah. So these are our earth cards. These are 2. Three of Pentacles. So here's your collaboration. 4. 5. 6. So that's sharing, charity. 7. 8. Here's our 9. So there's lots going on in the pictures below. And 10. This must be our page. Our knight on a squirrel. And so it's kept the bell, and it's just got a symbol for the court. So the symbol tells you what part of the court you're in, and that one tells you what suit you're in. Okay, so these would be our cups for hearts, emotions. So there is also a colour correspondence through the suits. So if you look at the background colour, apart from this one, of course, all those two. So it muddies for a couple, and then it goes back to the main colour in the background, pink. And we have our quartz. They are all carrying a heart of some description on them. He's wearing his. He's also got it in his crown. So swords. There's our 3 of swords. And our 5 struggles. 6 of swords, that guidance where you're moving on, usually a boat. And our 7, 8, 9, and there's our 10. There's a couple of figures in that one. And then we have a quartz. I can't easily spot a leaf on these, but he does have a feather. Oh, his fox looks mean. Our queen looks very contemplative, doesn't she? Deep in thought. And he's swinging in the air. Okay, so here we have our wands from the acorns. So that looks, yeah, so very much happy, stable picture for 4 of wands. So 6. And page. He looks like someone who's going to have a go anyway, doesn't he? He's got that kind of look about him. Interesting. So this one's on a deer. I don't know, but I don't think that's the animal I would have probably picked for a wand. I maybe would have picked a deer for hearts, possibly. Although hearts was on the tortoise, wasn't he? Interesting. I guess because I just associate deer as being gentle, and they kind of play on your emotions. Bambi being the movie in my head. There we go. So our Fairy Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. 2 cards there. No, I won't bridge my deck. I still won't bridge my deck. They do shuffle nicely. They fan nicely as well. Let's just have a look. Oh, what have we got? We have the King of Pentacles. Yep, that's the King. King of Pentacles. I'm not sure what else it wants to tell us for closing out the year. Master of my home, eh? There we go. So may your New Year's bring you lots of stability, and may you recognise all that you've achieved within the home, and may 2023 bring in lots of happy memories for you. May it be a year for building and dreaming. I hope you enjoyed looking through this. I am pleased I finally got hold of the this deck, and I look forward to seeing the next one, of course. But in the meantime, have a happy new year. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.